Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Speaking of frauds.
Maybe I'm just in a good place right now mentally where I am focusing on the positives in life in general. All right? So 2 games into the season, I'm not going to sit up here and scream and get red in the face and freak out. I am going to rip into some people. But I'm not going to totally freak out. The Sixers are 0-2. They did play the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference, in my own opinion. Now, Chris Middleton wasn't playing, of course, so the Bucks were down a starter, a big-time part of their team. And we looked terrible in certain aspects. But we're going to start this out with the positives. Here's what we're going to take away from this game. James Harden is back. 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 James Harden is back to MVP form. James Harden's back to MVP form. The only thing is, like, with James Harden playing this way, we got to figure out, how to get everybody else to be at the top of their games, also while having and encouraging James to continue to play this way. But there's no question in my mind, James Harden is back. There was the Sixers. Okay, let's start. Let's start in the third quarter. The 76ers had absolutely zero business being in this game. They went on a 13-0 run, led entirely by James Harden. And people that are just box score watching and saying 1 30-point game, 2 30-point games, and he's MVP. I'm talking about what he did. This is why I don't read the chat, bro. Shout out to you in the chat. Thank you for being active. I just can't read all of it, man. There's just a lot of nonsense sometimes. Anyway, what he did in the game, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, putting this team directly on his back and saying, Joel, whatever you're dealing with, I don't know. And we're going to get into that. Maxi's still kind of looking a little bit unsure of himself, still kind of looking like he doesn't really know what to do with the ball or when to take the shot or when to get his own shot when James and Joel are on the floor, which we were saying last season maybe he needs to come off the bench. We might start saying it again this season because we know he's an incredible NBA scoring guard. You just have to have him in the right situation so that I guess he feels comfortable at this stage of his young career to be confident enough to be taking those shots. But James Harden put the team on his back, drug us all the way back into this game. And then he tried to win the game by drawing a foul. Bro, there's nothing more James Harden than what happened at the end of this game. I said it on Twitter and people thought I was slandering him. They were coming at me. Oh, really? Yeah, he had a 40-point game. And you're going to say that? I'm just saying it's funny. If you were going to write a story about James Harden bringing a team back, if you were going to write a story about what does James Harden do down by 1 point with 10 seconds left, he drug us back by hitting what I felt like was 12 mid-range jump shots, floaters, driving all the way to the rim, and he tries to win the game by going one-on-one against Drew Holiday, and he tries to draw a foul. James, they're not giving you that foul. They're not giving you the foul, James. They're not giving you the foul in the NBA today, period. They're not giving you the lean-in foul, period, especially you, James Harden. They basically have blatantly admitted that they stopped calling fouls for you entirely. And they're not giving you that foul call in a 1-point game with 10 seconds left. But I'm not here to slander James Harden. It's just funny to me that that's how he tried to win the game. You couldn't go with the midi. I would have been fine with a step-back 3 air ball. I would have been fine with it. What you did to drag this team back into this game was nothing short of MVP performance. And James Harden's back. And he was phenomenal. Just funny to me that he elected to try to draw a foul with 10 seconds left instead of just taking a shot, But The game's obviously not on James Harden. Like I said, we had no business being in this game. And James drug us back. And it was, listen, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. I am damn happy that the NBA is back. I'm damn happy the Sixers are back. Thought I saw a bug on my thing, bro. I just did a Joe Burrow when that lady sneezed. So before we get into the negatives, let's go through the fourth quarter and talk about what James Harden did. All right. Let's start in the third quarter, okay? Tobias gets rejected at the rim for like the fifth time by Brook Lopez. I don't really understand why our players were attempting to dunk on Giannis and Lopez the entire night, but they got absolutely friend-zoned every single time. So let's all gather around. Let's huddle up. Let's pass around the message. Hey, don't try to dunk on Giannis and Antetokounmpo. Should be obvious. Don't try to dunk on Brook Lopez if you're Tobias Harris. He tried to dunk on Giannis. He got rejected. He tried to dunk on Lopez. He got rejected. And Tobias hit a big three towards the end of the game to bring us within, I want to say one or maybe put us up. I don't remember. But he hit a big three down there late in the fourth quarter. It was huge. And he played great defense. And I'm loving that from Tobias Harris. And I'll get into Tobias in a second. But anyway, Lopez rejects Tobias at the rim. Lopez pulls Embiid to the ground, no foul call. Embiid gets rejected at the rim for trying to dunk on Lopez. PJ Tucker dives on the floor. PJ Tucker was everywhere, man. Tobias Harris decides, hey, I'm going to take over this game now. And he shanks one off the side of the rim on the baseline, and then he airballs a three. And the crowd starts booing Joel Embiid. Everything's going sour. I mean, Joel Embiid, a year ago, the heart and soul of this city, one of the most loved athletes in this city, is getting booed by Philly fans. And we're going to talk about why very soon. Maxey had a run in the third when Harden was on the bench. We're running the pick and roll with Maxey and Embiid. It was bad. It was just Maxey missing shots. And then he had a tough finish over Drew Holiday, I think it was. Anyway, the fourth quarter starts. We go to the bench with Giannis still on the floor, and this is where I start to say, okay, Doc, you're really going to do this right now? I know Embiid was playing. That's exactly what happened, actually. I can't even really fault Doc for that, to be honest with you. Embiid was playing like absolute garbage. I don't know what his problem is right now. He said he didn't do anything in the offseason. I guess he wasn't trolling at all. I guess he was telling the truth. So Doc's probably like, hey, we got nobody that can guard Giannis. If Embiid can't guard him, what are we going to do? So he puts Harrell in there. I don't know. I think Niang was in there at one point. I don't remember the lineups in the fourth quarter, but Giannis was just, we couldn't stop him. And then Harden leads a 13-0 run. Funny part about it is the possession where Harden guarded Giannis and caused him to airball and have a shot clock violation. So James Harden not only drugged this team back offensively and led a 13-0 run in the fourth, he's the only guy that can guard Giannis? James Harden? I don't know what's going on here. At one point, the Anthony Melton ended up on Giannis, and he just, takes a power dribble and does a layup because it's 6'2", DeAnthony Melton. Harden drives and hits a layup. Harden hits a floater. Harden step back midi. Harden another mid-range. Harden gets a loose ball on the other end, throws it off the defender. He's making defensive plays. He's making loose ball plays. He's guarding Giannis, and he's dragging the team back from a 11, 13-point deficit. He was doing everything. Tobias hits a huge three. Tobias gets a strip on Drew Holiday on the other side of the floor. Harden comes back down. A lob to Daniel House under the rim. Harden drives in, tries to get a foul call, gets no call. They're not giving you the foul. PJ Tucker gets a strip on the other end. Up to Harden, who didn't get back because he was arguing with the referees, and gets a cherry pick layup. Harden hit some more mid-rangers. I mean, it was just all James Harden in the fourth. It was give the ball to James and move, give the ball to James and move. And then, Embiid gets the ball. Embiid comes back in, run a pick and roll with him. Harden shoots a midi. Run a pick and roll with him. Harden shoots floaters in the first quarter. In the first and second quarter, Harden was shooting floaters off the pick and roll. If they're going to stick on Embiid, I'm going to shoot the floater. Harden was making the defense choose, and he was killing them every single time they picked somebody else. But, in the fourth quarter, I think it was a tie game. 1 minute to go. Harden's the only reason we're in this game. And we go Joel Embiid at the elbow. And he shoots a jump shot over Lopez and shanks it. Crowd boos him again. Now, at this point, he's already not great in this game at all. Very bad, actually, on both ends of the floor, as he was in the first game. But now he's completely out of it because the fan base is booing him. And Harden drug us all the way back, tied the game, and we're going to go Joel Embiid at the elbow. That's really what we're going to do here. He misses it. Crowd boos some more. Doc Rivers had an interesting call with 30 seconds left to pull Harden out of the game and put Matisse Thybulle in the game for one defensive possession. I know Matisse is a athletic, very good defender. But he over jumps. He over pursues. He over what's the word I'm looking for? So I don't know if I really like that call. Not that it ended up Matisse doing anything on that play. It ended up a Grayson Allen drive on Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris overhelps and leaves Wesley Matthews wide open for three. So we were up by one, right, because of James Harden. Correct me if I'm wrong. And 30 seconds left. We get exactly what you would want from a possession, which is 6'4" Grayson Allen driving to the rim one-on-one against Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris, instead of guarding a 40% three-point shooter, tries to help Embiid with Grayson Allen. He kicks it out to Matthews. Matthews hits the three. They're up 2. 10 seconds left. Now, here's where I have the biggest issue. Okay? Because I know this play was drawn up. I know for a fact this play was designed. I know for a fact the team did exactly what Doc Rivers told them to do. You're telling me that James Harden just drug you out of the mud. You're telling me that James Harden just pulled you up off a cliff with one hand, put on a Superman cape. He was even diving on the floor. He was even playing defense. He was even throwing the ball off people's legs. You're telling me with 10 seconds left, after the game that Joel Embiid had, you call a play for a Joel Embiid one-on-one on Brook Lopez. That's actually what you called. That's actually what you told them to do. At that point, James Harden deserves the shot. He deserves the possession. I don't care if he airballs it and we lose. He deserves the possession. You go to Joel, who's been trashed the whole game. Insane call, if you ask me. But here's what I told you guys. Here's what I told you. Doc Rivers is never going to change his own mind. There's a pecking order. It doesn't matter. You saw it 2 years ago in the playoffs when Tyrese Maxey came off the bench and saved Game 3. Shake Milton came off the bench and saved Game 5 or 6, whatever it was. And then Game 7, he put George Hill in the damn game instead of either of those two. There's a pecking order on Doc Rivers' chart, and he does not care who does what throughout the game. When the game's on the line, if Joel Embiid's having an atrocious game, Doc Rivers is going to the guy that has the number 1 next to his name on the chart. And tonight, that's Joel Embiid. This season, that's Joel Embiid. And it's going to continue to happen. Doc Rivers said pregame we need to feed Joel more. So James actually drags you back into this game, and with 10 seconds left, you draw up a play for Joel Embiid. I'm blown away by that. I shouldn't be blown away by that because it's Doc Rivers, but I'm absolutely blown away by that. The funny part about the play is Joel Embiid threw the ball away. It was a turnover. I gotta turn my mic down a little bit here, man. I'm in the red. It's the second game of the damn season, and I'm in the freaking red. Joel threw the ball away. It went off Maxi's fingertips. We got lucky. The refs make a bad call, and the Bucks don't have a challenge. So Joel was terrible. 2 games in a row. James drags you out of the mud, and with 10 seconds left down by 2, you actually go to the guy who's playing terribly for 2 games, and he throws it away. We get lucky. We come back down. And I wish James would have took a shot. I wish he would have went with a step back 3. I wish he would have went with a mid-range jumper. He tries to drive in on one of the best perimeter defenders in the game. He leans in, tries to get a Trae Young foul call. They're not calling it. They're not giving you the call, James. It's funny, actually, that James is known for trying to get to the free throw line, and he tries to win the game that way. But you can't slander James Harden. He's the only reason we were there. He deserved the last shot. Wish he would have taken a different shot, but it is what it is. Overall, I'm taking some positives away from this game. I'm taking a big time positive that James Harden is at an MVP level. James Harden is at a 30-point per game level right now. That fourth quarter, I feel like he did not miss a mid-range jump shot. And he's never even been known to be a heavy mid-range jump shooter. But we've been saying all offseason, he's either a three-point shooter or he drives all the way to the rim. If he gets a mid-range, oh, man. And analytically, it's not a good shot. F the analytics. It's 2 points when you need 2 points. And James was giving it to us when we needed it. Pause. We just came up short. Now, Joel Embiid. I know you made a joke. You made the worst joke at press day that you probably could have made if you're going to come out and play like this. If you're going to say at press day, media day, Sixers media day, the whole city's watching. We're all streaming it on YouTube. The reporters are asking questions. You're actually going to make a joke and say, I didn't do anything this offseason. I was just on the couch the whole offseason. You're just going to have to wait and see. I didn't do anything. I was on the couch. And then you come out the first 2 games and you actually look like you were on the couch? Somebody explain this to me, please. Somebody explain this to me. My guy Greg Melly had an amazing tweet. He said, who would have guessed that James Harden would be the only one that came into this season in shape? Joel Embiid was atrocious in this game, man. Atrocious. 15 points in 36 minutes. Let me get the full stats, man. I want to get go back to NBA.com. Hold on a second. I need the full stats, man. Joel Embiid was terrible in this game. And look, there's a good tweet by Harrison Grimm, and I want to read it to you for a second. I'm not saying this makes it okay, all right? But Joel Embiid's first 18 games last season, he averaged 23.8 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 4.2 assists per game, 1.1 steals, 1.3 blocks, 43% field goal percentage, 37 from 3. Joel Embiid's 50 games after that, he averaged 33 points per game, 12 rebounds per game, 4.2 assists per game, 1.1 steals, 1.5 blocks per game, 51% from the field, and 37 from 3. So the first 18 games, he averaged 24 points per game. The next 50, he averaged 33 points per game. So I guess he wasn't trolling. He really doesn't do anything in the offseason. And then it takes him 18 games to get into basketball shape and get up to NBA speed before he starts dropping 30, 35, 40 games like that. So I don't know. I'm not saying that makes it okay, but that seems to be what Joel Embiid is right now. He does not look good. He does not look in shape. He does not look in sync. He does not look up to NBA speed. I mean, he was 6 for 21. He was 1 for 3 from the three-point line. He only got to the free throw line 3 times. 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. So 10 turnovers in the first 2 games for Joel Embiid. That is very bad. That's probably worse than his shooting percentages, the fact that he has 10 turnovers in the first 2 games. And he was a minus 10 from the field. And I don't even have to look at the advanced stats to know that he was a minus overall. And we were better when he went out of the game. I don't know what to say about it. It's Joel Embiid. Look, Joel Embiid carried this team last season. Joel Embiid led the league in scoring last season. Joel Embiid was absolutely Superman last season. I don't think he deserves to get booed in this game. But I know what you guys are saying in the chat, bro. All of the trade Embiid, all of the after 2 games is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. We're not doing that. He does need to come into the season in shape. I thought he looked in good shape in the preseason. I thought he looked bouncy and springy. Goddamn, I was wrong. But yeah,